Bam! Welcome to Jayson Waller Unleashed. Real talk, real success. I'm host Jayson Waller, former billion-dollar business entrepreneur, elite business coach, two-time top 5 podcast host with the BAM podcast and the True Underdog. You might know me from my TED Talks, best-selling books, or even my brand new reality TV show on Amazon, BAM Fam. Are you hungry for inspiration, wisdom, perhaps a hearty laugh? Get ready for a dynamic, electrifying journey filled with towering business triumphs, intimate family moments, and raw honesty that you won't find anywhere else. Buckle up. This is about to get dope as hell. I'm telling you, I have had all kinds of guests on my previous shows, and we're going to have some bomb guests on this. We're going to be talking about everything from politics to money to business to family to drama to kids to you name it. We're going to talk about it. It's going to be real. It's going to be raw. It's going to be in your face. It is Jayson Waller Unleashed. Real talk, real success, coming now. Bam!
So, please stand up, give a big, warm, massive welcome. Welcome to Jayson Waller!
I don't care how much money you've made. I don't care how great your morals are. I don't care how good you do in this world. Life will happen. It just happens. It doesn't matter what kind of things you do right in this world or what your vision is or how much hard work you put in. Life fucking happens. It does. You don't expect it. Right? I built, like Dan said, and thank you for the welcoming, Dan. I appreciate it. Dan's one of the best guys. Give it up real loud for him real quick. Come on. One of the best guys on the planet. But when life hits you, when you think things are going great, and I built 3 companies with great exits, and then all of a sudden I built this other company, Power Home Solar, which turned into Peak Energy. I never expected. I didn't finish high school. I didn't go to college. I had a kid in my teens. I married my high school sweetheart. I had 4 kids. I grinded. I outworked every fucking person in the world that I could. I walked into a room, I said, nobody will outwork me. I walked into an office, I said, nobody will outsell me. I walked in, I had a round table with President Trump in 2020. I said, hell no, he needs to be grateful to meet me. Like, I walk in with that kind of confidence on purpose. And that's what allowed me to build $1 billion business. Where we went raising, we did a minority capital raise in 2018 for $25 million. Started the company in 2015, like Dan said, we did $3 million in sales, we lost $1 million. I made nothing, I wasn't even on payroll. I sold my dream house from the 3 companies before that we bought, sold my house, got the stink eye from my wife. It was like, we're gonna go downsize, move into a house like 1/10 the size? Yeah, I'm all in. When you open a business, and you guys know, you're all in. There's no half-ass, it's all in. So I took all that money and I put it into the business. And I wasn't getting a check. And year 2, we did $10 million in sales. Still no money. Month 19, month 20, because the company still lost money, I finally started getting a paycheck. My business partner and my wife were like, maybe this business isn't the right thing. But I believed in solar. I believed in doing something that's impactful in this world. I believed in allowing people to own their energy and own their power. That's what I believe. My book was written on that. It's what I wanted in this world. I wanted people to not be stuck and handcuffed to the utility company. And the business, I saw the vision. I saw how it was going to go, and guess what? The 3rd year, 2017, we did $40 million in sales. We started making money. I was doing business that I wasn't used to. And I was in waters that I wasn't used to. I'm sure some of you have been in that position before. You go, well, I've never been in this spot before. I better get a coach. I better get a mentor. Maybe I gotta hire somebody on the team to make my team better. So I looked for somebody to help me raise capital. I didn't know in 2017, after building 3 companies, what EBITDA was. It's a true story. Didn't even know what it was. I knew that I built companies and they were cash positive and I was crushing it and I sold 2 of them and I was super excited that this 3rd one was going to the moon. And so I hired somebody that understood EBITDA. And so we raised capital, kind of like we were talking about earlier, a value business. This was a value business. We brought somebody in for a 25% partner. And they offered $10 million for 25% in the beginning of 2018. And I still didn't know what EBITDA was, but I knew that we had forecasts. Everybody knows what your forecast is, right? You set your forecast out for your business. I knew we were crushing our forecast. I knew we switched to American-made panels at the time. I knew that we were opening up markets like every other month. And I knew in the 4 months that we had the LOI that we doubled our forecast. So I had to sit down with my team and I said, guys, I gotta understand what EBITDA is. Because I feel like we're getting shortchanged here on this deal. And we were. They explained to me how EBITDA works and how the profit works. And I'm not talking about just, net profit. I'm talking about EBITDA and then how the multiples work and how we were getting paid. I didn't understand that. I was great at vision. I was great at sales. I was great at scaling. I was great at motivating. I wasn't good at that part. One of the things about being a great entrepreneur or CEO is you gotta know where your strengths are and you gotta know where your weaknesses are. You gotta surround yourself with people that bring value that you don't have. And so I asked my team and our attorneys and they broke it down for me and I was like, holy smokes, we're getting ripped off on this deal. They're giving us $10 million for 25% of the company and we should be getting like 18 or 20 million based on the value. So I called them up, it was a Tuesday, and I had the lawyers on the phone. And it was a company called Trivest out of South Florida, so I love them, they've got a great relationship with them, they appreciate the story now, they didn't like it at the moment. And I told them, I said, listen, I apologize, I didn't know what EBITDA was. But we have a problem with the LOI and I know we're supposed to close in 30 days. Due diligence is done, this isn't gonna work for me. And they said, well, that's retrade, you can't do that. I said, well, I don't know what retrade is, or mic trade, or darn trade, I don't give a shit. The deal ain't working. It doesn't make sense to me. We don't need the cash now. We're at a place in our business that we don't need it. We don't have a signed contract, we have an LOI. They said, well, that's kind of like a signed contract. I said, it's not. I said, let me ask you guys something. You see that I'm doubling the forecast, correct? Yeah. What if I was hitting half the forecast? What if I was only hitting half the numbers? Would you pay us less? Yeah. Well, then we've got a problem. You're gonna have to pay us more. It's Tuesday. I'm going to Disney World, Universal Studios with my family. You got till Friday. Click. True story. Friday comes, I'm at Universal Studios. Don't know how the hell this happened. They know where I'm at. A package shows up. I open the package, bottle of Dom Perignon, and an offer of $15 million for 25%. They met me in the middle. They split the baby, signed the deal, super jacked. Got my first liquidity raise. Now, most of that money went to the business. I was able to pull a few chips off the table. But we grew the business then from doing 40 million in 17 to doing 105 million in 18, to doing 300 million in 19, to doing 390 million in 20, to doing 621 million in 21. With $1 billion valuation, and we were going then to take them out in a good way, let them get paid 25 times their money, and we had an opportunity to take this company public in a reverse merger. Basically, somebody that already de-SPAC'd the year before, had $350 million on their balance sheet. See, I kind of know what I'm talking about now, I didn't then. And we were gonna take this public, we had $100 million dedicated to our employees, and everything was great. We had a product liability issue. We had almost 40,000 customers, and half our customers had a product called Generac. You guys are probably aware of them with their generators. Well, they got in the solar business. They got in the solar business the wrong way. In 2020, right before COVID hit, we were getting ready to start selling batteries. And they hit us up and they said, hey, we would love to partner with you guys. We see you all over TV. We saw that you installed solar on 5 NFL stadiums, 1 Major League Baseball stadium, 1 college stadium. We're all in. You guys are it. We want to partner with you. And I was flattered. I was like, who the hell's Generac? I didn't even know in 2020. You know, I'm like a racehorse. I don't pay attention to everything else. I focus on making myself better, my business better every day. So I didn't know who they were, but I knew they were a $12 billion public company. And I knew that they wanted to throw some marketing dollars at our business. And so we looked at it, we entertained it. They bought a company called Pica. They assured us the products were the best in the business, and we partnered in 2020. And we started crushing it. Because what happened in 2020? COVID. People working from home. And guess what people wanted when they worked from home? Solar with batteries, because they didn't want to pay the utility company all this money. It was like the perfect storm. And we were crushing it. And 2021 came, and we're like, hey, let's get Trivest out. Let's take some chips off the table. We started looking at private companies, and that's what we had. I did over 200 presentations. We had 54 offers. 52 of them were private. 2 were public for over $1 billion. We ended up signing the public deal. We were supposed to close in July 2022. As we went into the new year, we elected to change our name from Power Home Solar to Pink Energy because we were thinking bigger. We're going to be a public company. We want to be power, home, and solar. So we went Pink Energy. Like, this is unique. We'll do it on Earth Day. It's inviting. It's warm. It's innovative. Let's go. We were jacked. I was taking CEO classes to be a public CEO. Like, I was ready. And in that, you're handcuffed. When you're a public CEO, there's things you can do. There's things you can't do. And I'm pretty real and raw. Like, I say fuck a lot. Like, a lot. And I get pissed fast. I go 0 to fuck. Like, that's my temper, okay? Sorry, it's just who I am. But I'm a fighter. That's what I believe in. I fight for what I think's right. I believe in integrity. I believe in honor. I believe in never leaving your team behind. I believe in doing what's right for the customer, doing what's right for the brand. That's just who I am. I didn't go to college. Nothing wrong with that. I didn't go to school and someone hand me an MBA and say, this is how you run a company. I fucking had to do it from the beginning to the end. I had to learn every position. And so when I walk into a room, there used to be times I would be intimidated to walk into a room with college grads, business degrees. Now I'm like, no, hell no, I built $1 billion business. I don't give a shit what school anybody went to. I've got hard knocks. I built multiple companies from the ground up. I know all the positions, which makes me think, wow, I know how valuable it is to have people have education to teach you certain things and to build your team around and to not be Superman, but to be the Avengers. Because a team wins a lot more than an individual. We had this product liability issue. It says right here, 2,400 employees, 40,000 customers, and $400 million lost. When our company ended up closing, we had this issue with Generac, and I don't want to get into the details of it because it is long and that'll heat up the whole conversation. But pretty much they sold us an apartment we were installing, they assured it was good. 2 houses caught on fire. We're asking them what the hell happened. They said a firmware update. Think if you had a Tesla and Tesla goes, here's your update. Something like that for the solar panels. There was a thing. And what it did is it shut part of their system off. Didn't tell them, didn't tell us. And here's our consumers every month thinking the solar is being produced. It's not. They're paying their loan bill and their power bill getting upset. They're not getting upset at Generac. Generac didn't sell them the solar. Generac didn't install them the solar. It was us. So we went from this high reputable company with over 2,000 employees going public, $620 million in revenue in 2021, 40,000 customers, 5 NFL stadiums, an A+ with the BBB for 8 years straight, to crashing and burning, losing $190 million in 2022, closing the company. I had to lay off. This was my 3rd company. I built companies and never had to lay anybody off in my life. Ever. Never had to lay them off one time in my life. Ever.
Ever. I literally fired people. I have an 80-20 rule. Like, I believe 20% of my staff does 80% of the work, and the other 60% does the 20%, and the other bottom 20%, I like to churn and burn all fucking year. That's how I am. If you're on my bad list, you ain't doing your job, we're gonna put you on PIP. You can't get it, you're out. Because I'm a big believer of a lot of people that work for people at that bottom 20% just hold everybody else back and they spoil the whole team. So I'm a big believer in that. That's how I built all my companies and nobody can tell me different. Goldman Sachs tried to argue with me. Aries agreed with me. Like, different people have different philosophies. But I never had to lay anybody off. We never went backwards in any of my companies. So to lay off 2,400 people and their families, to know that we had all these employees and $100 million in stock options for them, where certain employees who've been with us for years were gonna be millionaires, was devastating. It was heartbreaking. It was hard because I was on all the TV commercials. I did commercials with my favorite player, Barry Sanders, in the NFL. He's my favorite person in the world. Did 2 of them with him. Doing all these events, being the face of solar, really, in the US, like just out there polarizing the solar industry and making it such a valuable investment for people to crash and burn. And guess who they blame when that happens? Me. My family got death threats. People didn't want to talk to me. People are like, oh, you ripped these people off? I'm like, are you serious? For 8 years, we had the best reputation in the industry. You think overnight we forgot how to sell solar and install it? You think this is us? We don't make that equipment. Generac admitted during this time when we found out, yes, this is on us, we should have done more due diligence. We ended up suing them for $1 billion before we closed. But the cash just ran out. You know, when you're doing 50 million a month in revenue and you have to convert to fixing people and you're doing 18 month in revenue, the doors close fast. Fast. So we closed. And for 90 days, I didn't know what the hell I was going to do in life. I was struggling with an identity crisis. You know, during the time of running Power Home Solar / Pink Energy, you know, the FBI shows up at my house and tells me and my wife 3 days before Christmas, we're getting ready to go to Florida. Hey, I'm sorry to tell you, but there's been a call to one of our field agents. There's a bike gang that actually put a hit out on you for this Pink Energy stuff. My wife's freaking out. She has PTSD. She grew up where her dad went to prison when she was 9 from the FBI because her life is way worse than mine could ever be. But she's a fighter. That's why I married her. She's a fighter, right? And so here she is freaking out. My kids are freaking out like, Dad, like someone wants to kill you. They were getting abused at school. Yeah, we saw your dad bankrupt the company. Dad ripped people off. This was the shit that we had to go through. After we got 40,000 customers who loved their system and raised their hand and wanted solar, and 2,400 employees, and all of this opportunity, gone. That's why I said life happens. Hit you right in the face. And I was successful at the 2 companies before that and felt like this was a success, and then it took everything. I lost $400 million, and I was starting from ground zero. And I remember the next day, I had like 5, 6 key employees looking at me after we closed and bankrupt the company. What are we gonna do? I'm on a whiteboard. We're gonna open a new business. We did. We opened a flooring business. I'm proud to say we opened that up in December. It'll do $2 million in sales this month. It's only been open 9 months. Did it like that, got these guys involved, opened a flooring company. I just know sales. And I know I have a mind that says, hey, if you've got a great product and a great offer, you got a call to action, and you can do digital marketing, which are some of the things that I'll give you during this speech up here. I've got some things you can take back on return on investment, ROAS, and digital marketing. But I'm able to scale all that and crush it. The business took off. But it didn't take off overnight. You know, I had a TED Talk back in the day, and I talked about the mindset of a buffalo compared to a cow. And I don't know if anybody's ever heard that. Has anybody ever heard the difference between a cow and a buffalo in their mindset? A cow sees a storm. It's raining, it's hailing, it's lightning. Cow sees it, cow decides to run the other way. Now think of that storm as anxiety, as fear, as depression, as insecurity, all those things that haunt us every day. Nobody's immune to that. Everybody has their own shit. That's a fact. Everybody. Nobody's immune. Everybody's got some insecurity. Everyone's got some fear. Everyone's got anxiety. Everyone feels the failure. If you haven't failed, you're lying to yourself. You have failed before. But what do you do with that? The cow runs from it. A buffalo decides, you know what? I'm going to run through it. I'm going to run through that anxiety in life. I'm going to challenge myself to not have fear. I'm going to put myself in that position to build confidence and not be insecure. I'm going to put myself in that position to bet on me and not worry about the end result. Because either way, I'm going to either fail forward and get knowledgeable, or I'm going to get the success that I want. And it gets through that storm faster. It goes through that battle and gets that blessing quicker. Because every battle, we've all been through them. You're all still here. You've survived it. You learned something from it. You've gotten better from it. Now, God knows, I'm like, holy crap, losing $1 billion business, it costing me $400 million. I don't know what the hell is supposed to come out of that. But I will tell you, I'm better for it. I'm a better husband. I'm a better father. I'm a better business owner. I got a lot of big things I'm doing. And so there's a reason for everything. And so I had this buffalo mindset that I would always teach people, that I would mentor people, and I'd coach people. You got to have this buffalo mindset. But when I got over the 90 days of insecurity, where do I go? I got in my car and I'm like, I don't even have an office to go to. What do I do? Like, it was sad. I didn't even know what depression was. I mean, my wife's had depression, my daughter, like everyone I know has had depression, and maybe I had it, but I've never realized what depression was until after I lost the company. Anybody that's lost a business, it feels, I would assume, like losing a child. This is something you built with your blood, your sweat, your time, sleepless nights, putting everything on your shoulders. This is who you are.
This is what you've sacrificed your time with your family for, is to build this company. So to watch it evaporate, you have identity issues, you get depression. And I tell myself, Jason, you gotta be a buffalo. What the fuck are you doing? Come on, like, don't be weak. Get through this. Don't cry. Trust me, I wanted to cry. I always said, I don't like to show I cry, but I cry. Don't be down, don't doubt myself. Let's get to the next level. So what did I do? I started mapping out, here's the next business. My man Dan reaches out to me out of the blue. You know, he's been on my podcast before. We've been friends. And he's like, Jason, what happened? And I told him. He's like, you've got a gift. You should coach people. You should teach business owners and entrepreneurs how to scale their business, especially in the home services. You should teach them on how to do digital marketing and ROAS and how to scale, open up new markets. Because we had 57 locations in 27 cities, 17 states, and it was cookie cutter. And I've done that in all the companies. Like, it's a system. Like, you think? Because I'm hardcore. Like, I'm all in. Like, let's go. And he's like, yes. So I started to flirt with coaching a bit. And you know what? It felt good. It felt good to be able to help another business out to succeed. It was like watching my kid throw a touchdown. He throws a lot of touchdowns. It felt really good. Like, wow, this is fulfilling. This is exciting. So I started doing coaching and, still building that company. And then I kind of felt stagnant. I felt, what do I do now? When you're running a company, 2,400 employees, you got 6 executives that report to you and 45 directors. You get bored. You're sitting around like, I don't have enough shit to do. So I started another podcast. Still, it's only 2 hours a week. I don't have enough stuff to do. I'm struggling here. I have this buffalo mindset. What do I do now? Well, that's when you got to become the storm. That's when you got to disrupt things going on. That's when you got to think outside of the box of what you're going to do next in life to challenge yourself. I started coaching my son's football team. I started looking at different companies. I have a passion to make a dent in the world. And I love floors, and we're doing really great at it. And I don't have to be the face, and I don't have to do the day-to-day. I just have to kind of meet with the executives and keep them aligned, help with the digital ROAS, and continue to scale. And now we're in 2 states, we're the largest in 1 state, and growing. It's exciting, but it's also boring. You went from solar, which was so complex, to floors. Like, hey, how many floors? Great, let's do it. Like, I get it, but I don't get it. Okay? I ain't knocking it, but I need more. I gotta be challenged. So I became the storm, and I started challenging myself to look at business opportunities and take things and try to better myself each way I can in life. And I started to take the failure I got because I was embarrassed. The news stuff out there would say, oh, he's like the Wolf of Wall Street, Lamborghinis. And they don't realize I had 3 successful companies, did some real estate. Oh, no. They look at this asshole on this Lamborghini with the blonde hair on all the TV commercials, and the company closes. And I was an easy target for fake news. And I had people I thought were my friends, they were just acquaintances, disappear. I told you, people talking to my kids the wrong way, like just this perception. And that's when I said, you know what? I got to turn this failure to fuel. I got to own my part. I was the CEO. I should have done more due diligence on Generac. I took their word for it during the process. They were a $12 billion company. I stood around and I took their word for it, and I should have been better than that. I wasn't. I should have had redundancy. I should have had other opportunities. We had different panel companies. We had different finance companies. Damn it, we should have had different inverter company and battery company. We should have had the one we had before we left them as a backup. I didn't. I allowed the PR team and legal team to not let me be a voice when this started to happen. When the customers, we went from 800 phone calls in 1 month, 800 phone calls, existing customers, potential customers, to 30,000. Obviously there's a failure that this doesn't happen. And I learned a lot out of that. And I said, I've got to turn this failure to fuel. I've got to do other things in life. I can't allow this to dictate my life. I can't allow this to control the things I want to be in life. I've got 4 kids that look to me to succeed. They don't want to see me lay down in the mud and quit. I don't want to be that person. that built $1 billion company has to talk about his past all the time. Damn it, I want to be the one that's present with $1 billion company now. That was my, I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not that person. I'm not quitting. I'm not allowing that company to take everything. They didn't take my mind. They don't take my soul. They don't take my hunger. They don't take my drive. They don't take my work ethic. No, they can have the company. They can have the brand. I'll regurgitate the brand. The cream rises to the top. If you always do good things happen. I will take this failure and I will turn it into fuel to kick ass again. And that's what I started to do slowly but surely. And I get this work mentality. I get this attitude. Kind of from my parents, but I wouldn't say, most people go, all right, because I came from nothing. Like my parents, my dad worked at AT&T making Corning fiber, like at a Corning plant. And my mom worked at a grocery store decorating cakes. I thought that was normal. And then we lived in Arizona, and my dad, they're closing the plant, has an opportunity to stay in Arizona, and has a friend who owns video stores when video stores were cool. Everybody remembers Blockbuster, and they're really cool in the 90s. Yeah. My dad's friend owned 30 of them, and was like, Bill, let me open you a sub shop, and Sherry, who's my mom, a bakery. And those smells can go into the video store. So when they come in on Tuesdays to get those movies, they can smell the cookies, they can smell the sub. It's a home run. I remember being 14 years old, eavesdropping on my parents having this conversation. My dad had opportunity. And he told my mom, no, I've got 2 kids. This is my brother and sister he's talking about. He had 3, but 2 with asthma. I got 10 more years at AT&T. I'm gonna keep the job. At the time, I didn't realize the impact. I just was really pissed that we were moving from Arizona to North Carolina. I'm like, what the hell is a North Carolina? I had to move there, it was just different. People had Chewbacca and overalls and all kinds of goodies on. I did not fit in North Carolina. And I hated it for the first year. I struggled with it. I got in fights. I went to 5 high schools. Great grades, never started a fight. They didn't like me. I didn't like them. Pretty simple. And I'm a fighter. So I'm like, hey, where do we line up? And so, but I remember sitting, I didn't even know what a trailer park was, and I lived in a trailer park. I remember going to school and wearing fake Tommy Hilfigers and people making fun of me for wearing fake Tommy Hilfigers. I don't know what it's like for someone to treat me less than for my race or my gender. But I can tell you, I know what it's like for them to treat me less because I didn't have anything. Because we lived in a trailer. I can tell you we weren't invited to parties because of where we lived. I can tell you I wasn't able to hang out with certain kids because I didn't have the right clothes or money and where I lived. I can tell you when I met my wife, I met her when she was 14 and I was 15. Her family, her mom, did not like me because I lived in a trailer park. Her mom and her sister would say things like, oh, he'd stick his feet out his house and move his house like the Barney Rubble and Fred Flintstone. I remember having this sick motivation, feeling like my parents failed and I wanted to use this failure. And they didn't fail, they struggled. There's a difference. They struggled. And I remember sitting around the table playing gin rummy with my mom and some friends. Anybody play gin rummy here? Love gin rummy. Spades, I'm like, whatever. And I told my mom at the time, she's like, what are you gonna do when you grow up? And I had my late friend Benji there. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna buy a Winnebago, I'm gonna own a business. I'm gonna buy a Winnebago and I'm gonna travel the entire United States with all the money I can handle. And she's like, why are you gonna do that? And I said, because when the unicorn comes by, Mom, I'm gonna jump on it, not like Dad. So when I say you learn from your parents, I got my work ethic from them. But my dad played to not lose. He didn't play to win. He played to not lose. And when we own a business, sometimes we play scared. And we play to not lose. We play too safe. And I've got news on you. I've got news for you. If you don't bet on you, nobody else is going to bet on you. You think you raise capital if you ain't bet on you? Hell no. You think someone's going to invest in your business and want to grow in your business with you? If you can't bet on you, no. So you do all the great work in the world. And if you're okay just being here, that's okay. Most of the world is okay being average. But I heard people talking about fire in their belly earlier, and I knew I had fire in my belly. I don't want to be average. I don't want to be the same. I don't want to go in with the herd of sheep. I want to be a fucking lion. I want to be the one who runs the jungle. I want to be the one who dictates where and what we do in life and the people around me and impact this world and elevate people to make a difference. I was not going to take a chance to play it safe in life. Now, I suck at poker and I play a shit ton of it, okay? But I will tell you this, scared money don't make money. And if you don't bet on yourself and you don't go all in, and I didn't sell that house and put it into that business, we wouldn't have built $1 billion company. And I left a lot of chips on the table. I didn't take distributions out since 2018, except tax distributions. What does that mean? That means I probably left cash-wise over $100 million in the business just to grow and sell it. Do I have regrets? Yeah, I mean, it makes you sick in your stomach. But I don't look backwards. I look forwards and I go, well, damn it, these next companies, I'm gonna take half and leave half in. So half scared money don't make money. But I gotta get something to get paid. All right, either way. But you gotta be all in on yourself. When people open a business, they're like, I just wanna be rich. Wrong answer. You better get used to eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. You better get used to getting paid the least amount of money over everybody else in your company or you ain't gonna grow it. You're gonna put in all the hours and not get anything or it won't grow. Because if you want people to believe in you, you've got to believe in yourself and you got to put it all on the table. And I got that from my dad. I love my parents very much. Their work ethic was fantastic. But my dad is a play it safe, play to not lose type person. I'm the complete opposite because I saw their struggles. I had to help him deliver papers at night and then go to school on top of him working. I saw that. I was like, I don't want that. Who the hell wants that? If I see opportunity, I'm going. You know, I wanted to have that lion mentality. And that's the real difference between, playing it safe and not playing it safe. And don't be held hostage. This is a chapter in my book I love because as you're building a business or you're in a relationship, sometimes you get handcuffed to the situation or the person. How many times you build a company and you got this awesome salesperson, but then they kind of dictate what they get paid or they'll leave. And if they leave, you're in trouble. I know when I own home security companies and home automation companies, I get these top salespeople that were like, well, you better pay me a higher multiple or I'm leaving. And here I am held hostage to them. I got to pay them more and I got to pay them more. Or I'm held hostage to not know what EBITDA was. Or I'm held hostage in a relationship. How many of us have been there where you're in this relationship? This doesn't even have to apply to business. You could be held hostage to family members that are blood related to you that make the situation at home uncomfortable. And you feel like you're held hostage because you're blood related to them. That they have to come around. That they have to see your kids. That they have to be around, even though they're disrespectful to maybe you, your spouse. I mean, everybody goes through this. Nobody's life's perfect. I know we all are on social media and it's like, my life is perfect. No. Everybody's got problems. That's what I know. And the more perfect they put online, the more fucked up they are at home. That's a fact. That's a fact. Trust me. They look great. Oh my God, he did what? She went where? Oh, we've seen the stories, okay? I will tell you though, you don't have to be held hostage in a relationship. As much as I just mentioned I love my parents, there was a time they were super disrespectful to my wife. Super disrespectful. And that was hard for me, because when my son was born, they didn't see my son till he was almost 1. Because I had to draw a line, I had to create boundaries. I had to do that, running a company, being a father, being a husband, and now I've got to oh shit, my parents can't come around. Because they didn't know the boundaries. Does that make them bad people? At the time, maybe, but no. But you can't put yourself in that position to be held hostage where people make comments like, I'm their grandmother, I'm allowed to see them. I'm your brother, I'm allowed to do this. I'm your dad, I said so. I'm your cousin, this. Guys, I've got closer people that I'm not blood related to than my own brother. And I hate saying that. But they're my brothers because a relationship is a give and take. It's not a take and it's not a give. It's a give and it's a take. And those that make you better in life and those that care to make you better and want to be there to pick up the pieces or reach out to you when you're struggling in life and you don't know where you're going, that's family. Doesn't matter if you're blood related. Shit, I got a tattoo of a tomahawk because my mom told me her grandpa was full American Cherokee Indian. I got 0 American Cherokee Indian in me. Me23.com told the truth. I said, Mom, you lied. No, that's what I was told. He lied. Or he ain't your grandpa. Something's wrong. But I got a tattoo that I'm done. I'm in trouble. This is bad. I got zero. I thought I'd have some cool shit in me. I got nothing cool. Zero cool in me. Zero. I got the basic BS. I was very disappointed. I was like, can we redo the test? I think they got the wrong person. I feel like I'm way better than this. And I wasn't. But the point is life gets like that. And we get held hostage in business where, I told you, the EBITDA story. There's been times where I kept my relationship with certain people in my business that we outgrew and I should have moved on from. And I fell hostage to that. I fell hostage to keeping it personal. We just heard Dan and Ivan talk about how you can't be personal about things. I've been there before. I'm sure you guys have been there before. Where you're like, oh, I don't want to hurt that person. I like that person. I don't want to let them go. You got to think of the brand. You got to think of the masses of everybody, not the one. And I started to evolve as a CEO in multiple companies where I got better at that. I understood that more, where I was almost unapproachable. And people would be like, he just has no emotion. I do have emotion. It's just when I walk into the door of business, I don't. When I get back in my car, I might feel bad. But I can't do it there. When COVID happened, I couldn't show fear to my employees. We had about 1,500 employees when this happened. We stayed open. We're an essential company. We put everything in what we were supposed to in place, but I couldn't show them I was scared. I was going to the offices, showing them, it's okay. We got plastic things that were good. Because if I showed fear, guess what happened? They would have quit. They wouldn't have worked. And we had Lucy, who still had to buy diapers for her kid, or Mark, who had to pay power and get groceries. We didn't know there was going to be government checks thrown around like candy. We didn't know. We stayed open, and customers still wanted our product. To me, you can't be held hostage to the situation.